I thought I'd do a bit of a different type of video in regards to actually doing a video based on discussion or further discussion based on some of the comments that you guys have made on a video I've already made. Does that make sense? One of the areas that were actually cut off inadvertently when I was filming the original video, and I didn't actually capture it, and it was something about the PlayStation 3 and some of my thoughts on Sony and so forth. And there's been a number of things that have gone on, obviously, as regards to sort of latest news as regards to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. It's changed certain angles of some of the sort of preconceived ideas about the Xbox One. Certainly there's been a few U-turns, etc, etc. I'm not really going to go into those specifically, but it sort of changes the whole discussion, I think, in reality. And like I said, a number of you have made some really good comments on the video, which first of all, thank everyone for taking the time of viewing the video and also making comments. So what I'll end up doing is I'll take certain comments that have been made on my video, and I'll basically discuss them and give a bit more feedback based on what I think about what's been given as some of the sort of discussion points on the original video. I'm going to start off the video or the conversation by saying that I've folded like a deck of cards, and I've actually pre-ordered the PlayStation 4 as well. The reason why, the real reason why I've also pre-ordered the PlayStation 4 is actually down to the games, which is actually what it should be. In essence, it should be about the games, not about new technology and just owning a new gadget. I've been guilty of that in the past, but what really pushed me into pre-ordering the PlayStation 4 as well is because some of the games that are coming out for it, as regards to some of the exclusives. What's excited me slightly is the next version of Killzone. I've seen some more videos of that based on information that's came out of Gamescom, and also there is a game, I think it's Drive Club. I love my racing games, and this particular game is an exclusive on the PlayStation 4. Yeah, one of the main areas really that I started to go into on my previous video, but unfortunately it didn't get recorded, was around another reason really why I've gone with the Xbox One initially, or why I went with the Xbox One initially as a pre-order. I'm sure many of you will remember this, but what sort of stuck in my throat a bit about the PlayStation 3 and I suppose Sony as well was, in some way, shape or form, I think we didn't get sold a pup with a PlayStation 3. That's unfair, because it is a good console. It is a good console, but it never delivered. In my opinion, it never delivered what it had been promised to deliver. Sony made an inordinate amount of hype around the PlayStation 3 as regards to the power of it compared to the Xbox 360. Now, of course, there's always the thing, look, it's not about the power of the console, it's about the games. And yes, that's true. Or it should be true. It should be true. But when you start getting to the realms of sort of fanboyism, it's almost like top trumps. Oh well, this has this more than that, and this has 1 megahertz faster than this, and more memory than this type. And it's I think, especially with the PlayStation 3, to a greater degree, I think a number of people got sucked in to the hype that was the PlayStation 3, and if we cast our minds back, and it's it's sort of started again now with the PlayStation 4 versus the Xbox One, in that but not actually so much by Sony this time. It's more about the fanboys, and this is where media and digital media and community stuff has sort of expanded, and it's been a bit of a snowball effect. But I'm sort of digressing slightly there and waffling. But if we go back to the PlayStation 3, one of the sales pitches of the PlayStation 3 was how much more powerful it was over and above the Xbox 360, and it was being touted as roundabout ish in raw processing power, or raw processing performance, nearly twice as powerful as the Xbox 360. Something like, I think the raw processing power of the PlayStation 3 was about 1.8 teraflops, and the raw processing power of the 360 was just over 1 teraflop. So it was reportedly supposed to be nearly twice as powerful. Well, I'm sorry, but that's just an absolute load of bollocks, and it clearly wasn't, and it clearly hasn't been. Now, yes, I appreciate there is some argument around specialist third-party developers that have, or even first-party developers that have spent an inordinate amount of time development-wise in getting a couple of titles out, and it has been a handful of titles that have actually pushed the PlayStation architecture further than mainstream stuff, but those are few and far between, and in essence has the sort of impact of those games as regards to what you can get on an Xbox 360 being that fantastic that it's even approached anywhere near as being twice as good. It's a bit subjective, all this stuff is, but it was one thing that I got to admit that sort of stuck in my throat over Sony and the PlayStation 3. I think we got sucked in. I think a lot of us got sucked in, and it didn't deliver what it was promised to deliver in the technical stakes as regards to actually what we would get as an end user, as a customer in our games. Now, I know there's the argument of, okay, multi-platform, then developers won't spend the time in getting all the extra benefits out of one console over another. They'll do ports between the two, and I accept that and I appreciate that, but you know, come on guys, at the end of the day, if you can't get that, if you can't experience or get a benefit out of that extra performance, if it exists, what's the point of giving it the big bollocks about it? Because it's absolutely irrelevant and it's a moot point. Now, there's a similar thing that's starting to happen now with the PlayStation 4 versus the Xbox One. One of the things about the graphics side of it, they're saying the PlayStation 4 is a lot more powerful. Bollocks, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. And there's been some points that have been made in communities around the fact that actually to get a notable difference in graphics that you see, you need an inordinate amount of, or increase, or technology step change to actually see that with your naked eye, sort of thing. So I actually think it's as irrelevant now as what it was between the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Admittedly, PlayStation 4 is supposed to be easy to code for, so in theory people may be able to make better and quicker advantage of any higher specifications of the PlayStation 4, but it's, again, I'll put money on the fact it'll be a moot point. I really do. I don't think that it will be a big enough, well, it won't be. it just logically won't be a big enough difference. So again, that was one of the reasons really why I sort of took the initial plunge with the Xbox One, and I thought, I'm not getting sucked up in that again. And it has to be about the games this time, as regards to exclusives and so forth, and what you can get on one console but you can't get on another. And again, that's one of the reasons why I've gone as well for the PlayStation 4 now as regards to pre-ordering it. So I just wanted to sort of add that really to I suppose really to the original discussion before I started going on through the comments that have been posted on my previous video. So, okay, first comment from Vintage Tech Repairs. And the Xbox 180, I love people that start calling it things like that. The Xbox 180 has certainly lived up to its name, with the most recent thing being a Kinect no longer needs to be connected to user system. Still not sure what to think. I've got to be honest, and I'm going to get this out of the way now, and any other comment that actually has reference to this kind of thing I won't mention again, because I suppose I want to suck this all up in one go, really. I've got to be honest, I don't give a shit about all the stuff that's been turned back as regards to different decisions that, but I can only judge something when it's given to me in the flesh. Whatever I get when I buy something, that's what I judge. Whatever's gone on as regards to conversation, announcements, and it's immaterial to me. It really is. I don't give a shit. I don't care what was promised. All I care about is actually what has been delivered. That is the only way I can judge something, based on what is actually being delivered to me, not what was going to be delivered, but what has actually been delivered. So all these sort of turnarounds, and people are making a big deal about it. I'm not saying that Vintage Tech Repairs is, but the community is rife with this. Oh yeah, well they can't do this, and then we don't trust them, and fucking get a grip. It's a fucking games console, for Christ's sakes. And you know what, Microsoft may have made a mistake, but they've corrected that mistake. They had big enough bollocks to realise, yeah, that was wrong, and we're going to change it. Who cares? I mean, you know, it's not really a major thing, is it? Well, it isn't. I mean, it isn't a major thing, and it's. I personally feel that I don't think that was all planned, what Xbox did as regards to the whole outcome of it, but they are not stupid enough to think that what they were going to announce as regards to, certainly as regards to second-hand game usage and DRM and all that lot, that they may not have to make a change to that policy. They would have known there was risks involved in it. I mean, you know, we're talking about a massive multinational company here. It's, you know, they're not stupid. They are not stupid, and I think they played the game. I think they played the game. Some will turn around and say, well, it's backfired on them. I don't think it has. I don't think it has at all. In reality, okay, it might backfire. It might be seemingly that it's sort of backfired on them at the moment, but I don't think it will do. I don't think it will make any bit of difference at all. It was like the red ring of death crap that went on. A lot of people were affected. Did that really damage Microsoft? No, because they grabbed the nuts and they gave everyone a 3-year warranty. You know, it's. I really don't think this has damaged them. Personally, I really don't. But you know, time will tell. So I just want to get that out of the way as regards to everything that went on, as regards to any announcements that were made, and any U-turns, if you want to call them U-turns. I don't care about that. I really don't care. In fact, at the time when they made those statements, I actually thought, you know what, yeah, it's a bit of a pisser, but I'm still going to buy the console. I still like the product. I like what I see. Comment from Console Arcade. Thanks for weighing in. As the Japanese 360 reigned as king this gen. Okay, yeah. I wonder which new console will be home to shmups and arcade homage. Oh, okay. As regards to shoot 'em ups, definitely, it's reigned. Yeah, don't know. Who knows? Obviously, Microsoft have got a bit of a history with that. But in reality, that's been really based around one single company, Cave, and Cave have announced that they're not going to be doing anything really on consoles. They're going to concentrate on other platforms. So who knows? But interestingly enough, PlayStation 4, there is an indie title announced that is a shoot 'em up that looks really, really good actually, and that was another reason why I thought, yeah, I'll go for the PlayStation 4. That looks a good game. Who knows? Who knows? Jury's still out on that. I find the Wii U not to be a waste of money at all. That must have been from my previous comment on my previous video. I remain more animated and electrified about the Wii U, especially in the light of 3DS surge and sustained momentum after its reported failure. Pikmin 3 has me and the whole family enthralled with its a cerebral Twitch gaming hybrid. The DC was a failure by popular standards, yet its legacy stands tall. I mean, this isn't really a video about the Wii U, and but I will say my comment that I said before about the Wii U being a waste of money is purely down to the fact that I haven't used it. I haven't used it. I actually switched it on the other night to play Super Mario. First time in perhaps a couple of months, if I'm being honest. So that was my comment based on the amount of time that I use it. But I suppose if I if I use that with everything else that I've got, then everything I've got's a waste of money, apart from perhaps my Xbox 360. So it doesn't really mean a lot, to be honest. Something that has been mentioned on a couple of the comments, not specifically, but sort of alluding to this kind of thing, is that in some way, shape or form, Sony and Microsoft are in a bit of a weird flux period, I feel, as regards to the next generation of consoles, because because the current user base of the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 is pretty big, and also there doesn't appear to be any slowing up of games being produced for them. You know, all the big titles are still being announced for the existing generation, and I think as well, coupled with the fact that sort of financially throughout the whole world there's some sort of major austerity going on. It'll be interesting to see actually, but then again the pre-orders certainly for PlayStation 4 wouldn't indicate this, but to be believed as regards to the numbers being bandied around, but I actually think there'll be a lot of people that will stay on the current gen for quite some time, to be honest, until at such point it's an absolute no-brainer that they need to move over to the next generation of consoles, and that's come up sort of certainly as regards to people inferring that they're going to stick with the current, you know, PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360. There's nothing that is giving them a real purpose to upgrade, and I can understand and appreciate that. I'm still playing the 360 now. I've actually got me PlayStation 3 out still at the moment, playing Last of Us, and when there's games like that are on the current gen, you know, what's the point of going to next gen in reality? Because the graphics aren't going to be sort of immeasurably better. I mean, they're really not. It's the resolution really that you're going to see a jump in, and actually when you're gaming from a gaming distance normally, you lose some of that clarity, or you lose a lot of that clarity. It's, you know, the further away you sit away from something, the less sharp it is anyway. I know the overall image is going to be sharper, but it's, I feel there's diminishing returns there, and it's, you know, are you going to go out and buy a new console just because it looks a bit prettier? Because let's be honest, it's going to be a bit prettier. It's not going to be, you know, it's not going to blow your brains. It just isn't. So I can understand that point of view, and it is a valid point, to be honest. So it'd be interesting to see what actually happens. I think this is one of the first generations of swap overs where I think that will happen for some time. People will keep hold. I know there was an element of that with the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3, but I think I think generally between Microsoft and Sony, the existing generation will keep a massive share of the overall market without a doubt for some time to come. I think personally, a member called the Human Silver Surfer has made, and again it's been sort of reiterated by some other comments, is about the price point of the PlayStation 4 as opposed to the price point in the Xbox One. Something that Microsoft has just done, which is it's, and this is why I should never discount Microsoft. They're so cash rich. I mean, I bet their disposable income, not income. Well, yeah, their disposable income is like some massive order of magnitude larger than Sony's overall turnover. I'm sure it is. Microsoft is so cash rich, it's just unbelievable. And something that Microsoft have announced in the last couple of days is that every single pre-order in Europe, every single pre-order of the Xbox One will include a free digital copy of FIFA 14. Now in Europe, that will be a massive coup, in my opinion. I'm not really into football games, but obviously they know, based on sales, that actually FIFA is a massive franchise in Europe. I mean, absolutely massive. And a lot of the younger generation that I know, they love FIFA. They love FIFA and they love Call of Duty. You know, that's what sells. That's what can sell the consoles. I think that is a great move from Microsoft on a commercial front, without a shadow of a doubt. So that game's going to be, I don't know, say it's £40. At the moment, the Xbox One is £80 more expensive than the PlayStation 4. So for the extra £80, you're getting a decent free game with it. You know, a major title with it. So that's £40 off of the 80 in effect. So basically, for 40 quid, you're getting a Kinect. Well, I even thought previously it was a good deal, to be honest. You know, because you're getting the Kinect. Okay, admittedly, perhaps they should have given you a choice whether you have the Kinect or not. But obviously, originally they wanted the Kinect to be a core part of the Xbox One moving forward. Again, they're slightly retracted from that as regards to it actually have to be connected now. But anyway, but again, let's look at what we've got now. Let's forget what's been announced before. Let's look at what we've got now. Let's look at the facts now. And the facts are that for the extra £80 that you're paying, you're getting a game anyway, digital download if you pre-order. So that's 40 quid's worth. You know, if you're going to buy FIFA anyway, you're into your football games, bargain. So basically, you're getting a Kinect out for 40 quid. Well, that's not really bad, in my opinion. So yes, I think Microsoft have played a bit of a blinder there, certainly in Europe. Be interested to see what they do in the rest of the world as regards to what they do for their game that they'll bolt on, assuming that they do that in other places. Stuff I wrote, commented about a number of things, but one of them was about the way that the PlayStation 4 looks, and the fact that Ian's actually pre-ordered a PlayStation 4 over and above an Xbox One. I must admit, I do think the PlayStation 4 looks better. Something that I didn't find out about until after I pre-ordered the Xbox One. Okay, it wouldn't make any difference, but actually that was one of the things I thought, oh, that's going to be a bit of a pisser, was the fact that apparently you can't stand the Xbox One on its end. Not sure if that's absolute concrete fact, but apparently that's what's been banded around. You can't stand it on its end, but the PlayStation 4 you can. Now, for me, especially in here, where I'm going to be playing all my games in reality, as regards to the next gen, I've got the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 on end because I haven't got a lot of space. So that's a bit of a pisser, that is, really, about the Xbox One, if that actually turns out to be fact. But overall, I do think that the PlayStation 4 is a better looking console. SNEStastic has made a comment about actually something that I wasn't actually aware of, to be honest. It'd be interesting if Pete can reply back to this, actually, or we'll actually go and do a bit more. I'll actually go and do a bit more research on it. Pete's made a comment saying the PlayStation 4 is for him. It's more appealing as Sony has better exclusives. I didn't actually think that was the case, to be honest, when I was looking through the games that are due for release. Perhaps I got the wrong end of the stick there. I was certainly looking at what's going to be available at launch as regards to exclusives, and well, not necessarily, well, yeah, exclusives, I suppose, and so yeah, not sure of the facts behind that one. I'll have to look at that. Craig's here again has stated, "You surprised me. I had you down as someone who would buy both day one." Yeah, well, I haven't disappointed you. Now, I might not get the PlayStation 4 at day one because of stock levels, but yeah, I've ordered it, obviously, so hopefully I haven't let you down in that case. Full Moon Studio stated on the Shmups King. Yeah, I wouldn't quite say I'm the Shmups King. Now, you might as well wait until you find out which one is going to have the best shmups. Yeah, I like my shoot 'em ups. I really do like my shoot 'em ups, but that's never been what the current gen or the next gen's been about for me. I love my gadgets anyway, and so yeah, so I was never going to wait until they were released to see which one, which platform had the most shoot 'em ups, because it's an extremely niche market. It really is, and it'll be interesting to see what happens about shoot 'em ups. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Blue Tonic 78 has actually, until I've just read his comment just now, I never thought of this, and I think this opens some things up to Microsoft here, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do something around this. Blue Tonic 78 has said that now all the fuss has started to simmer down with the Xbox One. Thank God. I think people are going to be more inclined to grab one. I think that's absolutely true, and like I said, with the recent announcement about FIFA 14 being included, certainly in Europe, I think that will be the catalyst for Microsoft as regards to it really doing some good numbers now. I'm further to say I wouldn't be shocked to hear a cheaper bundle being offered without the Kinect, and if so, I'd probably jump on that. Now, the interesting thing is that the Kinect package, if you look at the price of the PlayStation 4, which is £350, and the Xbox One is $430, I suspect they could remove the Kinect if they wanted to do this, if Microsoft wanted to do this, and again, I'm sure this has been thought about, is that they could remove the Kinect, lower the price and make it cheaper than the PlayStation 4. I suspect they could do that. Even if it was only a tenner cheaper, I bet they could bring it lower fairly quickly than the PlayStation 4. It'd be interesting to see what goes on. Really be interesting to see what goes on. So that is actually a point I never thought about, really, as regards to commercially whether or not if they did remove it, what effect that could have on the price. I was always thinking, you know, they'd remove it and keep it the same price as PlayStation 4, but why would you want to do that? Even if it was £10 cheaper, that'd be quite a good marketing ploy, that would. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if something like that happens. First person that said this, actually, and I had the rough end of the stick around this as regards to Sony only last night. The Kaloid Gamer, the Kaloid Gamer, neither one of these at the moment have me sold. Trying to stick with the Wii U for the next 12 months, but we'll probably go for the Xbox One because of Xbox Live. Like yourself, PS4 will be purchasing at some time in the future. I was actually thinking about this, about my original video last night. Xbox Live as a service is brilliant as regards to, I suppose, as regards to its content, what it does, what it gives you. Certainly recently as well, Microsoft have stepped up the benefits of the membership, where you actually get free games now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that over on Xbox One. So that matches the PlayStation Plus membership, which is similar in what it provides. But the actual stability of the Xbox Live network is, in my opinion, is pretty much second to none. It is rock solid. I actually can't remember the last time I had a problem with Xbox Live stability. Now, strangely enough, last night I was on my PlayStation Vita, first time in Christ knows how long, and it's because I've been thinking about the PlayStation 4, if anything. And there is a beta demo of Killzone on the PlayStation Vita that you can play, and it's only accessible to people that have got the PlayStation Plus membership. Now, because I don't use my PlayStation 3 that much, really, or my PlayStation Vita, I've never subscribed to that service. Last night I took the plunge, and it's £40 for 12 months, exactly the same as the Xbox Live Gold subscription. And I thought, well, I got my PlayStation Vita and I can actually start downloading games, and there was a few games that I wanted as well that were free, and they got the same deal. They do it every month, they put different games up there. So I thought, I'd get that 40 quid, I'll buy it because I know I was getting the PlayStation 4, and I'll hope to get some benefit of that subscription on the PlayStation 4 as well. Well, I've had a few problems with the PlayStation network, and I'm not the only one. It appears that it's up and down like the whole like a set of horse drawers. It's and actually last night I suppose the irony is I'd literally just purchased my PlayStation Plus subscription for 12 months, just managed to download the beta version of Killzone, went to play it, and it said the PlayStation network was down. It was down for the rest of the night, so from about, I think it was from about 8:30, something like that, 8 o'clock, 8:30, it was down until I went to bed about 12, and it was still down then. And I thought, what a piece of shit. I mean, what kind of bullshit is that? You know, it is pretty unforgivable, to be honest. And it appears that it happens quite regularly. The PlayStation network goes down, and you know, it's a bit comical, really. They really need to sort that shit out. They really do. And it's another issue as well with the Wii U or the Nintendo stuff. Everything's so slow on the download side. Crazily slow. Xbox Live, fine. You know, it works, and it seems to work all the time, you know. So it really is something Sony has to get a grip of, you know, and it's not rocket science. It really isn't rocket science. Their infrastructure must be just shit. I mean, it really must be, but it's, you know. So that is to me, that's a major bonus, major advantage of the Microsoft platform is the Xbox Live service, and it's renowned for it, to be honest, its stability and usability, and long may that continue. But it's a key point, certainly for people that play online, and a lot of people play online, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Cloud Skipper has made a comment saying that sort of made me chuckle when I read it. I also question my maturity in terms of how many consoles I buy. Something about buying both feels inherently childish, or maybe even a bit greedy. That's not to say it is, but it's a feeling I can't shake now I'm in my mid-30s. Well, I'm in my 40s, mate, and I feel even more so like that than what I did on on the release of the last lot of consoles, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, but yeah, bollocks to it, I'm still buying them. Chef Solid has commented, firstly to say that he's not getting either, and effectively he will game on his PC for games moving forward in the current gen or in the next gen. I did think quite carefully about this, and I've never been a big PC gamer. I've dabbled in it. I've spent a bloody lot of money getting PCs up to sort of pretty high specs, but that's more of a hobby thing really, and sort of messing around with stuff. But I did consider, and I think I said in my previous video that I will most probably buy a lot of the multi-platform games on the PC moving forward. I think I'm going to move back from that now. PCs are just a pain in the ass in many ways. They can be really glitchy. The games can be quite glitchy. It's one thing I love about a console is they may not look quite as pretty, but they just work. All you got to do is switch it on and press the start button, and you normally get a decent consistency of frame rate. With PlayStation, with the PC, you can get issues with drivers, you can get incompatibility with different types of graphics card combinations, and okay, overall you can potentially get better performance, but it's at the sacrifice of what it's. I just want to play a game. I don't have to go through the ball ache of, oh crap, I'm getting stuttering in parts of the game there, or the graphics drivers doing this, and bollocks to that. So I suspect I'm going to go back to, I think I'll stop with console gaming. I might get the odd title on the PC, and that's certainly not going to stop moving forward. But yeah, I've sort of made my own sort of U-turn, I think, on that. I'll certainly strongly consider getting Call of Duty Ghosts and Battlefield 4, I think, on the console front. Future Mac 5 has made a comment basically saying that next gen you can go and screw yourselves unless you effectively produce and bring out a new version of Shenmue. I've actually got to be honest, Matt, I've never really played that game. I've got it, but I've never really played it. And I know you hold it in high regard, but I've never given that any decent gaming time. Perhaps I should pull that out and play it on the Dreamcast. But yeah, so Matt's basically going to put his blinkers on, and he's not going to get either. Matt, you boring bastard! Stick your hand in your pocket and just buy one of them. Don't be a tight git. Starship Ghost has made a very vital comment and worthwhile comment on this discussion thread, saying shitbox none, full stop. I'm only joking, mate, I'm only joking. Pervy Priest has alluded to the fact that at the moment he's not going to look at the next gen, but if he had to choose, he would probably go for the PS4, since Sony doesn't have any region protection as opposed to Xbox One. I swear I read somewhere yesterday some announcement had been made, or perhaps it was an official announcement, but something had been said that apparently Xbox One games aren't going to be region locked. Perhaps that's hearsay. but it'll be interesting to see whether or not that is actually factual. But it doesn't, that doesn't really bother me, if I'm being totally honest. I've got hardly any import games for the PlayStation 3 in reality. Xbox 360 is obviously somewhat different. I've had to buy a Japanese console to play the shoot 'em ups, but that's a bit of a niche thing, so it doesn't really, that's not a major issue for me personally. But it'd be interesting to know whether or not whether or not what I read is actually factual, that the Xbox One isn't going to be region locked. So in essence, that sort of sums up in reality quite a few of the comments that have been made in response to the previous video. I mean, a lot of people have mentioned that they're going to sort of effectively wait and see what comes out and how the two consoles compare, and you know, which is absolutely 100% reasonable, and I'm a bit of a nutter buying both, you know. It's a lot of cash in reality, so not everyone's going to be up for spending that kind of money on two chunks of plastic, sort of thing. So it's absolutely understandable with people are waiting, and really it should be about the games. What platform gives you the games that you want to play? If neither of the platforms give you any games that you want to play, then obviously you're not going to go for next gen, are you? But if you're looking at exclusives, and I think, to be fair, both Microsoft and PlayStation, Microsoft and Sony have an equal number of exclusives. They certainly have, really, on the current gen, and it depends which way takes your fancy on that. I suspect which would you take, which way you go, if you're sort of on the fence about it. But it look, guys, if nothing else, I think the next 2-3 months will be a sort of pretty exciting time. The release date, obviously, for the PlayStation 4 has been announced. In the UK and Europe, it will be towards the end of November. America getting it 2 weeks earlier. I wouldn't be surprised, if being banded around as well, that the Xbox One will be released before the PlayStation 4. There seems to be a momentum building up about people thinking it will be on the same day as Call of Duty Ghost is being released, which will be a pretty big event, to be honest. It'll be released prior to the PlayStation 4 and also on the same day as Ghosts, which is going to be a massive launch day without a shadow of a doubt. So if Microsoft announced that, again, that will add more momentum, I think, to their offering, certainly as regards to it being aligned more so to Call of Duty, that being the platform for Call of Duty, which is what they've done previously as regards to their sort of sales spin. So, you know, regardless of whether it's the PlayStation 4 or whether it's the Xbox One that you go for, or whether it's both, or whether it's neither of them, I think the next 2-3 months is going to be a pretty exciting few months. I'm looking forward to it, I really am. And the release itself, the release date is you know, for both consoles, is a matter of weeks away now. You know, it really is. It's sort of come around that quickly. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the discussion video, guys. I will speak to you again soon.